Assalamu alaikum and good morning to um, I am continuing the topic academic mentoring and monitoring. See, in, in teacher also we have the teachers who are senior and well experienced. There are new teachers who join the especially the current year. So there should be a mentoring system in place in the school where a new teacher or a teacher who need to be improved, giving a complete support by the senior teacher. She may be, he or she may be the academic coordinator or the, you can call as the mentor. There are basic uh, duties, duty specifications for a teacher. A teacher is expected to do certain basic duties. In performing the duties, the mentor has to guide, train, and as well the mentor has to check whether the whatever the training offered, whether the teacher implement it, and there should be a complete unique mentoring monitoring system in place to check whether the teacher is delivering the duty up to the expectation. That is what my topic is. Similarly, we expect the student. Basically, the student is expected certain things. Student should be regular in attending. Students should understand. Students should do the worksheet. Students should do the homework. Students should do the test. So these are the things we expect. What a school having a monitoring system to ensure each and every student does all his duty. Is there any system by which any one student is not doing any of this is identified and rectified at the beginning itself? This is what my uh, topic, and I would like to share the what is the practice we have in the school, in our school. That is what. And in the I recap a few slides, important slides. Last week we were talking about, and then I will come to the key parts. Actually, the quality of education many schools claim as securing centum result and the number of centums and highest marks secured. Mostly the school uh, focus on the conventional method and they wrote memory. The present day, the academic vision of a school should be to make the student to think, to make the student inculcate the all type of thinking, to strengthen the conceptual understanding. Every student should answer of their own. Uh, Even the students should be in position to write the higher order questions so that uh, they are prepared to face even the competitive exams. They should become the intermediate learner, and above all, what is required is to understand a problem and to know how to solve it. This is ultimately the every student has to acquire this ability. This is what any HR check for in any placements. So quality means we have to, the school has to state what a student can achieve and ensure that the each student achieve it. uh, the school has to meet the expectation of the parents. School has to set a high standard. What the how the what the student can achieve, how best the teacher can perform. Uh, Time to time, that bar has to be raised so that the student also rise as well as the teacher also rise. The quality keep going ahead. Okay, quality mainly in the answer, mainly in the answer. Quality of education cannot exceed quality of. Very important thing is to acquire the quality, there must be a system in place. That is what my core point of my presentation. You should have a proper system. What a teacher does in one school, all teachers should do the same. There should be uniformity in the when you assign a duty, how the teacher does their duty. One teacher should be the same for all. There should be a clear-cut direction from the management, from the principal. This is what we expect a teacher to do. So you can pinpoint where the teacher goes wrong, and not that you should not say a sweeping statement that this teacher is not good. It's a sweeping statement. We have to say a teacher is not good in this respect, in this aspect. This is the weakness of the student. And student or a teacher, we need to identify, pinpoint. Okay. So any mistake should be identified at the beginning, should be rectified. So a school should challenge. We are rendering the service which is complaint free. No parent can identify any mistake. So that should be the motto of the school. So there must be a system in place to identify the mistake before it is identified by the parent. That is what is very important. Okay. Before there is a mistake in the system, before it is identified by the teacher, the principal should identify. Before the student, principal identifies, the management should identify. This is good. Okay. Now, these are the main duties of the teacher. Teacher to be trained, and teacher should prepare a lesson plan, and the teacher should secure all the resources that are necessary. Teacher should handle the class effectively. Teacher should correct the worksheet, homework, uh, and correct the test. And the teacher has to give the feedback on the student on doing the worksheet, homework, and as well as the test. Where the student is weak, where the student is strong, the teacher has to identify. Similarly, the duties of the student are they have to be regular, do the work, and do the test, and so on. My question is, what is the system in place in the school to ensure all the teachers does their duty perfectly, all the student does their work perfectly? What is the system in place? That is the question. Now, that is what my focus point. Yeah. For example, in a school, there must be a system. A lesson is taken in, say, 4 or 5 periods. For each lesson, the teacher submit the lesson plan. For each period, teacher has to submit the lesson. At the end of each period, student must be made to do the worksheet to ensure student has understood whatever done in that class. So it should be ensured. So this is required. See, mostly the homework is given at the end of the lesson. No, the homework should be given pertaining to the that particular period. Okay, for a one lesson, there can be overall test. So this is what is normally the basic thing that are I am talking about related to the academics. Now monitoring, monitoring the teacher. So teacher should take the class in accordance, strictly in accordance with the lesson plan, strictly in line with the methodology that is adopted in the school in an order. Okay, and more important is that at least one class in a month, one or two class in a month, a class taken by a teacher should be observed by a senior teacher, whom you call it as the either the mentor or academic coordinator. For example, one teacher takes fifth standard mathematics. The teacher may take the fifth standard science also. So for the fifth standard science, the teacher should be observed one or two times. For the fifth standard mathematics, she goes no. It should be observed with for the one or two times, and not that just going the senior teacher or mentor goes and just observe and making a sweeping statement, your class is not good. No, they should observe with a checklist, a rubric. There are certain criteria by which the senior has to observe and give a report to the teacher. And after the observation, the mentor and the teacher has to sit and discuss where the teacher has gone wrong. Where the teacher, whether the main focus of the this observation is to assess whether the teacher is clarity and their presentation is good, whether the students are able to comprehend, whether the purpose of the lesson is served. At the end of the lesson, ultimately, whether the student learn what is supposed to be learned. So that has to be ensured by the observation. So it is not just going and sitting and making a comment. It should be on a using a rubric, a checklist, and after the observation, clearly should be discussed with the teacher so that the teacher weakness is identified and teacher is given support where she is weak and the teacher improve upon. So that is now coming to the monitoring system. One example I would like to give. See, yeah, in a class, number of lessons are taught over a month. A student is given homework after every class. Means in a 1 week, the student would have been given 4 times the homework in mathematics or 5 times given the homework in a week. How will you ensure all the students in this, all the students for a particular lesson, they have done their homework on time and they have submitted, and as well the teacher corrected on time, and the teacher corrected and it was supervised by the coordinator on time, and that reports come to the principal on time for a one particular lesson. Can you suggest what kind of system we can have to ensure this? Anyone can. How we can ensure that? The point is, I want to identify one or two students would have missed to do the homework. A teacher takes a bundle, pile of homework book, and teacher corrects it. One or two students would have been absent. They are left over. And next time the teacher corrects the homework, she turns the page from the back normally, not from. Okay, and she corrects the what is submitted at the last. So one or two lessons the homework would have been missed. How will you ensure? Can anyone tell me how to ensure this? All the student does the homework. The coordinator has to ensure whether the all the students' homework is checked. Any suggestion? Anything in place in any school? Yes.
Once in a week or twice in a week for the weak students or the low learners also, we can make them to finish completed, and within a week we may submit all the homeworks of the children.
My question is, we have to identify whether the student has done or not. Whether any student is missed from correction. Okay, good.
Sir,
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum.
Maintaining correction records, sir.
Very good, very good. Maintaining correction record. Mashallah, great. Okay. Okay. Now I come to see. Very good suggestion. We can have a checklist. For example, I am giving this. Here, this is a checklist. This is for a one particular class, for a one particular subject. Okay. Here is the student's name. Here I have mentioned it as the block number. Okay, in Exceed it is termed as block, and you can term it as a lesson in general. This lesson is taken in 4 periods: LP1, LP2, LP3, LP4. Okay. So at the end of the each period, teacher gives the homework. So when the teacher does the correction, the teacher should have the hard copy of this on the table, and not after correction. When the teacher starts homework correction, teacher has to keep this hard copy of this is open. Once the first student's first lesson is LP1 is corrected, the student teacher has to make a tick immediately. The moment the teacher signs in the makes a sign in the homework notebook, immediately she has to make the tick in the checklist. It will not take much time. Teacher moves to the next student. Next student homework correction is over. She is making a sign with the date. You should sign with the date. That's very important in this monitoring system. Immediately you have to make the second tick. After that, after the first everything is over, the teacher has to, at the bottom, teacher has to mention the date of correction, on what date the teacher corrected. And she might have corrected, but she may not have submitted to the checklist, has to be submitted to the coordinator. What date she is submitting to the coordinator. Okay, and the sign of the teacher. At the below, at the end, I think you are able to see or not, I am not able to see. The sign of the principal should be at the bottom. So I show you the filled up sheet. So this is the checklist homework done for a one particular lesson. The students, at the bottom you can see date of correction, date of submission, signature of the teacher, principal, and so on. And alternatively, so either you can make a tick, alternatively you can give the grade also, A, B, C, like that. If the student has done well, you can give A, instead of giving the tick, you can give say A, B, like that. Here you can see one student by name Hamdan did not do the homework for the completely did not do homework. Okay, it is identified. So maintaining the checklist is not only to identify whether the student is done or not, you need to do the follow-up also. So when you move on to the next lesson, you need to ensure that student was not done the homework, why he has not done. Whether he has not understood, whether he by negligence he did not do, and so on. See, by maintaining this record, it will help to two ways to identify whether the student done or not. You can do the follow. Another thing, you can you can respond to the any query from the parents also. And sometimes see the student may not have done the homework at all, but the parent will come and tell, you are not at all giving the any homework. Sometimes the parent will come and tell, you are not assigning the homework. The reality is, you do assign the homework, but the student may not have done. All students would have done, but the one particular student may not have done because of his mistake. But the parent will tell that, put the blame on us. So when we maintain the record of this kind, we are answerable to anyone. Teacher can answer to the principal, even the teacher can answer to the even the parent also. This is the one checklist which may help you. Okay. Coming to the next, yeah. Next, coming to the next, academic mentoring of the teachers. That is, that is, what a teacher has to be given the complete support, particularly the new teacher, how to be given the complete support by an experienced teacher, the mentor, in three aspects. Number one, in training the teachers. Once the training is done, it is not sure that the whatever the teacher learned in the training, she will adopt in the class. It is not sure. So we need to give the proper handholding to the teacher to ensure every teacher adopt the training to the expectation so that they perform the best. A new teacher who enters the school should come to the level of the senior teacher within a short period. Okay, and as I said, no, teacher should be observed and the feedback should be given during the handholding also. Now, what I mean by handholding, I just tell you. Again, what kind of training that are given in the school? Normally, in the many schools, the spoken English training, personality development, and so on are given. But all those training are auxiliary support. So what should be the training is, in order to handle the day-to-day class, how to handle the class day-to-day, they should be given the training on that day, how to make the class make with more clarity, as well as the presentation is good. The student all comprehend according to the certain norms that are set by the management, according to certain norms that are expected by the mentor. The training should be so that the teacher adopt the lesson plan in the prepare the lesson plan prescribed format, standardized methodology. We need to give the handholding. We need to ensure the teacher handle the class in accordance with the lesson plan. Okay. This is very important. This is what I mean by handholding to the new teacher. That is, once the training is over, you cannot put the teacher in the class. You need to give the handholding. I give the good example for the handholding. How do we teach cycling to a person who doesn't know cycling or driving, whatever it is? நார்மலா நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுவோம், ஒரு ஆளு சைக்கிள் கற்றுக் கொடுக்கணும். நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுவோம், முதல்ல வந்து அவர் சைக்கிள் ஓட்டுறது எப்படின்றது சொல்லிடும், இப்படிலாம் பண்ணணும் சைக்கிள். That is the training. After that, you have to make the person to sit in the cycle. He should properly sit. He should properly hold the handbrake, and we have to make them to pedal. We have to run with them. We will be running with them, and then when he maintains the balance, when he is able to run by himself, we will just leave him, not you will totally leave him. You will just leave him, see that he is properly running. Once he is able to balance and run properly, still we run with him for some more distance. When we are confident that he can run independently. So that's a kind of handholding should be given in every school for a new teacher, by the mentor, by the academic body. See, first there is one training session is there. After the training session, there must be a demo class by the senior teacher or the mentor, and new teacher has to observe the class taken by the mentor, and after the demolition, there must be an interaction, and the new teacher has to report what is the main feature of the class, how good the class was, and whether the class is in line with the observation rubrics. That is a checklist that is normally used to observe a teacher. Okay, and then so there are few sessions. You should happen on all the three subjects: science, mathematics, language, and so on. Then the new teacher should take the class. It should be observed by the mentor, and as I said, the mentor should give the feedback on very specifically whether the board work is good, whether she was interactive with the students. I will explain more with the observation checklist. And after that only the teacher should be left to the class to take the class independently. Say this kind of handholding can happen in two types. During the vacation, we are nearly 10 days before we open. That time it can happen without the students. Once after the school opens, and even after the school opens, the same demo session, a new teacher should not be sent to the class immediately. A new teacher should observe the class taken by the seniors with the students. Then only she will know how a senior teacher or the mentor is handling the class, how the teacher poses question to the student, how the students in turn pose the question to the teachers. So in the presence of the student, it should happen. Okay. So it is a basic duty of the principal to monitor, have a monitoring system to check each and every teacher and the student does their duties on. So with this, I end this today's session. Inshallah, with time permits, I will have one more session. Okay.
Thank you.
Sir,
Sir. Thank you, sir.
sir, in
one-
correction record, sir,
Yeah,
in correction record, there is a line below that last line. Just
Ah.
explain that line, sir. The true purpose of education.
yeah, this is. You
The
mean
last
this?
line. That
Yeah,
yes, sir.
last
Yes,
line
sir.
is grade scale.
No, no,
Yeah.
not that, sir. The
Ah.
true purpose of education is to that line.
Yeah, yeah.
Mine's
Actually,
not there.
the true purpose of education to make the minds, not the careers. That means, actually, we have to prepare the student. Actually, as I told, no, you have to inculcate the different kinds of thinking in the children. Basically, logical thinking, analytical thinking, and critical thinking. When the three thinking come in the child, automatically the problem solving ability will come in. And that is what will fetch him the job also. That will make him successful in the professional career as well as successful in the life.
Okay,
Not
sir.
that we are preparing the student to get placed and they earn good income. No. We find even the IT professionals, no,
Yes, sir.
they commit suicide. Even that, the coffee day, the millionaire, coffee day owner, millionaire, in Mangalore, he committed suicide. So he is very, very successful in his personal life, in professional life. He don't know to live. What is the use? That is what the. Okay.
Okay, sir.
I
Jazakallah.
hope I have answered.
Yes, sir. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you, sir, for your kind session. Very much inspiring and motivating session. MashaAllah, about the quality of education, mentoring and monitoring, and particularly to make the teachers understand the vision of the school through the thinking, logical activities, analytical thinking, comprehensive understanding, ability to understand higher order questions, and moreover that you have brought to the notice that whatever the complaints, whatever the things at the minor level, it should be rectified. Otherwise, in future, it will become macro level. It will become big compliance. Very, very important point you have mentioned. And apart from that, you have mentioned the basic duties of the students and system, lesson planning and checklist and everything. Yeah, it is really very good, inspiring motivation. If every teacher follows it, that definitely they will become a successful teacher in teaching in their life. Every student, it is to be noted that they got a certain potentialities. We cannot look over it. Every student has got certain potentialities. It is the duty of the good teacher, inspiring teacher, that such potential should be found out at the basic level and brought into light and give chance for function. Otherwise, the failure of the teacher to find out these basic potential levels in the lower level, in future, it will lead to big complications and the failure of the students in life. And moreover, brought out the homework checklist and everything. Really, it is appreciating that, sir. Today, the need of the hour is this. Completely, we have to monitor the lessons by the teacher as well as by the principal. And apart from that, the last question that literature raised is that I feel that the purpose of the education is to make the human, to make a person complete human being, and not for the purpose of the jobs or getting the employment. If the teacher is getting all the skills required, automatically it will lead to the good job. Let me conclude with thanking you, sir, and again inviting for the next session. Jazakallah khair. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah.